What is science? Firstly, we must ask ourselves, where did the term science come from? The word science comes from the Latin scientia, meaning knowledge. However, the definition of science itself is not just knowledge alone. Due to science being so broad, the true definition is very subjective. Science is life. Without science, there would be no life, and without life, there would be no science. Science has so many aspects, each with their own branches and sub-branches. However, a simple and accurate definition of science itself, conjured by the British Science Council, is the pursuit of knowledge and understanding of the natural and social world following a systematic methodology based on evidence. In simpler terms, this means knowledge concerned with the physical world, covering general truths and laws, which is obtained and tested through scientific method. After being unintentionally discovered in 1820 by a German physician, the public were initially skeptical as they knew it was a poison, so how could it be good for you? Today, this opinion is still somewhat present. However, people are more understanding of the medical benefits it possesses, but the medical perception has been clouded by the cosmetic uses advertised by celebrities to enhance their features. Botox is a very controversial topic, and always has been. Its perception by the public has greatly influenced how popular it has become. We chose this topic because we wanted to find out how much the public actually knew about Botox, and if, once they had learned a bit more about Botox, they would change their mind about using it again or in the future. We asked 108 people what Botox was. 37% of people said they knew what it was made of, but actually only 29% of people knew it was made of botulinum toxin. Some of the other answers were a bit ridiculous. Piranha blood? Really? Botox is a drug made from a neurotoxin called botulinum. Botox itself is the name used for a pure derivative of botulinum toxin A. Botulinum toxin is one of the deadliest toxins known to man. Scientists have estimated that a single gram of this toxin can kill 14,000 people if ingested, 1.25 million people if inhaled, and 8.3 million people if injected. A few kilos could kill every human on Earth.
Plump up your lips and butt.
Out of the 108 people surveyed, only 4 didn't know the uses of Botox. Botox is used to treat certain medical conditions and to freeze the muscles in people's faces so wrinkles don't show. This short video by Botox will explain.
Neuronal stimulation initiates a cascade of events that leads to the fusion of the neurotransmitter-containing vesicle with a nerve membrane. This process is facilitated by a group of proteins comprising the SNARE complex. The membrane fusion results in the release of acetylcholine into the synaptic cleft by a process of exocytosis. The acetylcholine diffuses and eventually binds to receptors on the muscle, leading to muscle contraction. Botox, botulinum toxin type A, consists of a heavy chain of 100 kilodalton and a light chain of 50 kilodalton, making up the 150 kilodalton core type A molecule. The toxin is protected by accessory hemagglutinin and non-toxic non-hemagglutinin proteins, yielding a uniform 900 kilodalton complex. This illustration shows a cross-section of the spine, with a motor neuron extending into the muscle and a sensory neuron extending out of the muscle. After injection of Botox, it would be expected that most of the neurotoxin would remain at the injection site. The Botox core molecule dissociates from the accessory proteins and targets the nerve endings. The binding domain of the Botox core molecule is the C-terminal portion of the heavy chain, with an acceptor on the nerve. The Botox core molecule enters the nerve cell by a process of receptor-mediated endocytosis. It is the heavy chain that contains the binding domain. The toxin is now contained in a membranous vesicle inside the cell. Soon after, the light chain is released into the cytoplasm of the nerve terminal, where it begins to cleave one of the SNARE proteins. In motor neurons, the light chain of the Botox core molecule blocks the release of acetylcholine by cleaving SNAP25, which is an essential component of the SNARE complex. When acetylcholine cannot be released, muscle contraction cannot occur. In sensory neurons, the light chain is believed to cleave SNAP25 by a similar mechanism, thereby blocking the release of neuropeptide neurotransmitters and inhibiting the sensitization of pain nerves. The toxin does not appear to affect the conduction of electrical signals along the nerve fiber or the synthesis or storage of acetylcholine.
Firstly, it attaches to the receptor on the surface of a nerve cell. It then begins to look for a second receptor nearby to attach to. Once attached to the second receptor, it enters the nerve cells and breaks down the protein needed to deliver molecules that can signal other nerve cells. Blocking of the signaling molecule causes paralysis, pneumonia, and even death. In theory, when administered correctly, yes, but in real life, no. It is unknown the long-term effects this toxin can have on the brain, nervous system, and muscles. It is recorded that it has already killed 16 people, 4 of them being under the age of 18, and with another 87 being hospitalized between 1997 and 2006. In this time region, there were also 658 cases of adverse effects linked to Botox. Because these reports were voluntary, it is thought to only account for 10% of actual cases. We even managed to find a story of Botox gone wrong.
Yep, my friend got it done because her mum wanted her to get it, and her whole left side of her face ended up really blotchy and red, and she had to get a chemical skin peel from it because it came up all warty. It was so funny. And then it started dripping, and then she had to get it was not good. It all just kind of went a bit wrong.
Although these hiccups can be funny, there can be serious side effects associated with this treatment. For most people, Botox is harmless, and it is reported to be one of the safest non-surgical cosmetic treatments. It also has many brilliant medical purposes. It can be used for chronic migraines, treatment for people with cerebral palsy, and an overactive bladder, along with much more.
Well, healthy lifestyle is one thing. But I guess there's lots of creams that can help you, can't they?
Yep, there's face creams that if you're spending that much money on Botox,
Therapy.
Therapy, there's laser treatment, there's all sorts of things like that.
It is quite shocking that only 33% of people surveyed knew there were alternatives to Botox.
After learning a bit more about Botox, would you consider using it now?
What about Botox? Would you consider using it now or again in your face?
No, because it's painful when they inject you. So.
I have melanin on my side, so...
That's brilliant, thank you.
I never really wanted it, to be honest.
Even though Botox can be dangerous, it is very useful in treating certain medical conditions. However, it is up to the individual whether or not it should be used for beauty.